Today's feature presentation brought to you by the letter P. You hear that? Pop, 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 filter. John Purleybrook speaks to you. As the progenitor of this audiovisual experience you're about to enjoy, I must warn you that it is exceptionally spooky. Viewer discretion will be penalized. Bow before the mighty John Purleybrook and weep. Heh, I got you good. No, don't worry, everything is fine. My head is still firmly attached to my body, I assure you. Or is it? Well, I suppose we should get on with today's project. We're making a pop filter. What's a pop filter, you ask? Well, Cheryl, a pop filter filters out aspirated plosives, which is a fancy way to say that my P's, and sometimes B's, occasionally explode aspiratedly. I'm no expert, but that doesn't sound good. The brass pieces we just squared up got soldered together to form a square. The backside of this square is getting a small recess grooved into it so we can solder the wire mesh into place, forming the filter. In rare fashion, I actually ordered some material for this project. Namely this food-grade 1mm square hole stainless steel mesh. I'm not sure the double layer is necessary for this application, but my thinking is that the 1mm holes are a bit too large. So I overlaid another piece of mesh, rotated 45 degrees to close off some of the through space. There's something about turning my own hardware on the lathe that really makes me feel like the 75-year-old man I so often am. When I was buying this lathe, my fiancé asked me that well-intentioned but oft-dreaded question: what are you going to make with it? I spouted something vague, and while that sentence may have held meaning for her, it was but void to me. What was I going to make with it? Was this lathe simply transitive marketing seeping in from the machinist YouTubers I was watching, or was this something more? Occasionally one is prudent to trust their gut. The magic of the manual lathe isn't in grandiosity. It's not of the ilk of 3D printing or CNC. It cannot repeatedly manufacture complex shapes that otherwise would take years of effort and skill to produce. The lathe isn't a shortcut. One must procure all the skills of machining to find value in those discarded metal chips. Simplicity is the hallmark of the lathe. It allows one to make parts that could not be made otherwise. For me, this is the essence of value in a tool, the opening of a creative door, that inexpressibly precious surge of facilitated creativity. Is the manual lathe better than any other tool? No, certainly not better. But this machine will forever hold a special place in my heart for the humanity it bestows upon my work. Perhaps my favorite part of owning a lathe is that it gives meaning to rusty old scrap metal like this bolt. In the welcoming arms of the machine, these rusty bits of scrap are given a new life. Today, the life we bestow is unto an articulating arm. Articulating not because we need it to articulate, but because I am horrible at planning. If I can over-engineer something like this, then I don't need to measure anything. And if I don't measure it, then I'm at no risk of accidentally starting to plan it. Thus do I maintain my fragile sanity, safely shielded from the restrictive anxiety that is planning. But of course, this head-first method of tackling these projects often results in wasted effort, which, as it turns out, categorizes everything we did to construct this articulating arm. With a slight redesign, this arm can be attached using one of the pre-existing corner holes in the filter body. By some miracle of the deities of Halloween, the filter body is just the right size to near perfectly line up the filter and microphone center lines, thus rendering our efforts in making this arm articulating null and void. Another lost soul for the box of misfit parts. May this arm find solace in the company of others until the day we find its faded use case and manufacture a completely new arm because we've once again forgotten all about the box of misfit parts. As sad as our little articulating arm's fate is, I'm sure we can all find a little satisfaction in knowing that because of its sacrifice, we've managed to use exactly as much stock as our big rusted bolt had to give. I recently learned this finishing technique from an Uri Talkman video. Using some homemade charcoal I gathered from the fire pit, and a bit of water, a quick universal swirl yields a sort of mid-century aviation vibe. An old aesthetic staple of mine is using these 120mm fan covers for various projects. The combined swirling action of the final product actually looks like I planned for it to have an Art Deco flair all along. I didn't, of course. Your directionless guide is here to stay, I warrant, but if the results come out like this, I believe we can both rest easy. Does it work? Well, you'd know by now if it didn't, because in a fit of temporal nonsense, I actually used this pop filter to record all of the dialogue you heard throughout this video. I know, temporal breaks are a bit too scary, but it is the Halloween season after all, so I tell you what, for old time's sake, let's all take a sit back and commiserate with the poor soul who somehow found the last video using Google.